name's Mary. Welcome to my office. I'm going to be your storyteller today. I'm going to read from you Chrono Nogatha by Bob Cook, starting with the prologue. Nogatha is a world of mysterious magic and strange creatures. An overweight and out of shape, unlikely hero, Chrono, and his smoking hot wife, Nogatha, wake up in this strange new land. They have no idea how they got there and no idea how to get home to their 2-year-old daughter. Join the odd duo as they struggle to adapt to their new life and follow along as they try to unravel the mysteries that keep them away from their home. Laugh, cry, get mad, be happy. Repeat. Someone replaced my bed with a roll of speed bumps. With eyes shut tight, he searched blindly for his blanket. He was determined to find it without having to put forth much effort. He decided the best way to do that was to wave his in random and sporadic directions. Chrono was an expert at sleeping in, and even more so at falling back asleep after having been woken up due to any unforeseen circumstances. He knew from past experiences that the moment he opened his eyes, his chances of falling back to sleep were next to nothing. Nogatha, I'm freezing. Please pass me some blankets. You took them all again, he said, still blindly searching the unfamiliar terrain of what he was beginning to suspect wasn't even his bed. No answer. Not hearing a reply from his wife wasn't all that uncommon. Once she was asleep, it usually took a natural disaster to pull her from her slumber. What did surprise him, however, was that the object his hand had finally contacted did not feel at all like his wife. It felt more like a cold, damp piece of wood. He decided opening his eyes was probably his best course of action. What the heck, he thought, realizing Nogatha was gone. He reluctantly settled on getting up. Sitting up seemed to be more difficult than usual. After pushing through the annoying lower back pain that had become the norm, he looked to where his lovely wife normally slept. In her place appeared to be a dead tree covered in some glowing blue fungus. Staggering to his feet, he let out a loud groan as his body cracked and popped like a roll of bubble wrap. Crap. Stupid sleepwalking. Where did I get myself this time? He whispered. Nothing looked at all familiar. Nothing for as far as he could see. It was like he woke up in some scary painting. All the trees appeared to be dead. Around their trunks were a blanket of small vines. From what he could tell, the ground was about as level as ground could get. But then again, Indiana was the flattest state he had ever lived in. It was still dark outside. Thankfully, there was a ridiculously huge full moon out. Not much I can do tonight except get more lost, he mumbled, then scanned the overcast sky for the North Star and any constellations. Not even the sky looked familiar. Without the sun, walking in a straight line is going to be impossible in this darkness. I'm screwed. Might as well go back to sleep, Chrono said, moving some broken sticks and ash-covered leaves away from his new bed. He was an Army veteran of many years and had learned a lot about land navigation. He knew that without the North Star or a compass, he would most likely spend all night wandering around in circles. Maybe I should just stay put. Nogatha will notice I am gone and call for help. Someone will come get me. After all, how far from home could I have possibly wandered, Chrono thought. Realizing that his bed was a breeding ground for spiders, creepy crawlers, and probably snake, he disregarded taking a nap. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to find some place better to chillax while I wait for Nogatha. I don't even remember going to bed last night. I can't remember much of anything. I need a cup of coffee, Chrono murmured as he began his midnight stroll. Coffee, that sounds good, coffee. A woman's scream pierced the night, coming from off in the distance. Chrono's protective instincts kicked in. He was always one to fight and never take flight. No other option could find refuge in his mind. Charging recklessly toward the scream, he shouted, "Hello? Who's out there?" Chrono, she yelled from someplace close. Thinking he recognized the voice, he yelled out in a sudden panic, "Nogatha? Chrono, where are you? I'm really starting to freak out." Realizing that the terrified woman was the love of his life, he ran even faster, bobbing and weaving around the thick vegetation. She was all alone. All reasoning and intelligent thought processes were on a not-so-well-timed vacation. During all his military training, not once did any of his instructors tell him it was a good idea to run blindly through a heavily wooded area in the middle of the night. That kind of common sense had to have been taking a bathroom break. Keena's disregard for safety soon became obvious. He found the ground that should have been under his feet was about 20 feet lower than he expected it. "Whoa, crap!" Keenis yelled as he fell into the shallow excavation. "Keenis Alexander Louis Sanas," Nicolate shouted, sounding quite angry. "What?" he asked, not wanting to open his eyes. He was pretty sure he was back home, and that all that previous freaking out was just a dream. "Get off me." "My bad," Keenis said in an insincere voice, rolling off Nicolate. "I thought you were our bed, and that I was back home." "Yeah, I'm sure. I can see how you would mistake little old me for a giant queen-size mattress. Where are we?" she asked. "Well, glad you asked, my dear. You see, I believe I've had enough time to deduce the answer to your question. As you know, I have quite a bit of experience in this sort of thing. Now, based on my past experiences and understanding of geography, astronomy, and plant life," Keena said in his most serious and professional tone, "I would say we are in a scary painting, perhaps one of a forest outside Transylvania, one full of vampires, werewolves, and giant rats." "Ha, ha, ha. Shut up. Seriously?" Nicolate said with a giggle. Keenis loved it when she laughed. The bane of his existence was when a frown made its way to her lips. Before his well-deduced theory, overwhelming fear and confusion were crushing his poor Nicolate. Now, because of his quick wit, the mood was lightening a bit. Time to figure out what was going on. "Sorry," he said. "Do you remember anything about last night?" "No, I've been racking my brain ever since I woke up. You know how bad my memory is. Trying to remember anything is a struggle, but this, it almost feels like last night never happened." Keenis looked around, scanning the dark walls. He only heard half of what she said. Not that he needed to listen. He was pretty sure he already knew the answer to his question. Well, yeah. Something had to have happened. No way both of us walked out here in our sleep. As many times as we have been camping, have you ever seen a sky that looked like that?" he said, pointing up into the darkness. Nicolate shook her head. "Me neither," Keenis said, as he ran his hand along the slick walls. "We need to get out of this hole. If a deer or something walks in here with us, we're screwed." There was a large tree root, possibly a rope, hanging down. It was notched every 12 inches all the way to the top. It was lowered into the hole to help people get out. "Can you climb this?" Nicolate asked, with a small smile on her face, poking Keena's plump belly. "This," he said, shaking his belly up and down, "is all your fault." Nicolate grabbed the root and climbed out with ease. No surprise, her favorite hobby was breakdancing, and her only obsessive-compulsive behavior was her daily exercise routine. Keenis, on the other hand, spent all his free time playing video games and watching movies. He struggled up the 20-foot vine, began with an instant sweat. Halfway up, he figured he knew why nothing looked familiar. There was no way they were still on Earth. "The gravity in this place must be much higher than what I'm used to," Keenis struggled to say. "Yeah, I'm sure that's it," Nicolate said. The root was slick as snot and very difficult to grip, but Keenis finally managed to pull himself to the top. His arms shook as he peeked over the brim. He felt himself begin to slide back, then grabbed Nicolate to catch himself. As soon as his weight tugged her legs, she fell backwards. Grabbing a hold of a small tree to her left, she angrily cried out, "Seriously, Keenis? I could have gotten hurt." She dusted the ash from her pants as they both stood. "I'm sorry. I didn't want to fall into that big hole again. Would you rather fall on your butt or me fall in a huge hole and die?" Keenis asked, glancing over Nicolate's shoulder. Off into the dark woods, he noticed a faint blue glow. "What do you see?" she asked, taking his hand in hers. "I'm not sure. More of that blue fungus stuff, I'd imagine. Definitely worth investigating, though," Keenis said as he started off. "Wait up!" Nicolate yelled in frustration. A few minutes into their walk, Keenis heard a loud squeaking sound. "Rats!" he yelled. "Rats what?" Nicolate asked. "No, rats, I said, literally. They are huge, and they look angry," Keenis shouted, pointing to a small pack of large rodents. Oh my goodness, they are huge, Nicolate said with a loud scream, jumping up on his back. Each rat was about the size of a small dog. They might as well have been a pack of pugs, only with knife-toothed giant rat faces. Perhaps cute little faces of the cuddly pugs might have been a bit more frightening. Despite the threat of the approaching creatures, Keenus couldn't help but to snicker at the images of a swarm of rat-pug hybrids playing in his head. He noticed it was becoming increasingly difficult to breathe, and his eyes were burning. There was also a steady stream of pepper spray now shooting over his shoulder. From her perch, Nicolate proceeded with an onslaught of pepper spray on the now stunned rats. Keenus did what any man in his current situation would do. He flailed his arms around, screaming, knocking Nicolate from his back and falling to his knees with both hands rubbing his eyes. Dang it, Nicolate. It got all over my face. It hurts, you a-hole. Quit your complaining and stomp on them. Put those big feet to good use. You got it, babe, he yelled. Eyes still watering, Keenus kicked and stomped on anything that moved. He could hardly see, but every time his foot found its mark, he knew it felt like he was crushing giant grapefruits. Kicking and stomping in a rampage, he ripped off a low-hanging branch from a dead tree and started clubbing the limp rats. Die! Get some! Keenus yelled in a fearsome battle cry. Keenus, calm down. I think we won, Nicolate said. He pretended like he didn't hear her, and continued his rampage. At first he felt like he could go on all night, but only a dozen seconds in, he was already out of breath. Honey, she said, placing a hand on his shoulder. Owned! Did you see me, Nicolate? I was like, pow! Then I was like, bam! And then one tried to get away, and I was like, get over here! And almost broke my stick on its fat head, Keenus said triumphantly. Keenus began to pick up the dead rats and tie them to his stick by their tails. What are you doing? Nicolate asked, a mortified look on her face. We don't know how long we'll be out here. Could be hours, days, weeks. We need to do all that we can to stay alive. I hope you like spicy food. He snickered as he held up the pepper spray-drenched rodents. You can't be serious. Can't we get rabies from eating rats? I don't know, but I would rather chance rabies than die of starvation, he said, patting his belly. I think you'll be okay. You have a lot of reserve, Nicolate said, laughing as she pinched his belly fat. Shut up, Keenus said with a smile. Just because I can probably live a few years without eating doesn't mean I want to. Nicolate rolled her eyes. You are not that fat, honey. The light, Keenus shouted. He had almost forgotten where they were going. And that, my friends, is the end of the prologue. I'm sorry if I made some mistakes. I'm a storyteller, not a professional. Let me know in the comments.